Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
Hey, we did it right this week without any hiccups. 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 Do you ever call them hiccups?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
That sounds like something that would be on the Smurfs or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Hick 'em up Smurf.
Hick 'em up Smurf. So, Hick 'em up Bear from the Care Bears. His belly was like a glass of water and a spoonful of sugar and then someone making a scary face. And his Care Bear stare gave you the hiccups. What is wrong with us?
Hey, gotta entertain.
I know. All right, so this is episode 324 from the Ashes of What Lies Beneath. So we are talking Supes and Lolo, Season 2, Episode 1, What Lies Beneath. We're talking the Book of Boba Fett, the Streets of Espa, and then the Expanse series, finale, Babylon's Ashes. Anyway.
Now, forget the question mark, series, and in parentheses, please no, finale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I have series ? But I'm going to change that to say, please no. Please, no. Exclamation point. Anyway. So no news. We're gonna knock this out. We're recording a day earlier than we normally do. So we just finished the Expanse Please Not series finale. I actually watched all three of those shows today. I've watched more TV today than I have all week.
Oh yeah, I know, because the fact that you didn't watch Supes and Lolo yesterday was
okay.
Was kind of like shocked me to my core a little bit.
You know what? I worked out late. I got home. I was tired. I fell asleep. You know what it was? Is I crashed. You know those C4 energy drinks?
Oh, yeah.
So
I haven't had one of those in a while.
They have Starburst flavors now. And this is not sponsored, so they don't sponsor us. So they have Starburst flavors now, and they have cherry Starburst flavor in particular, which is my 100% favorite candy. Is any pectin-based cherry fruit chew, but Starburst in particular, especially the Starburst jelly beans. But this energy drink tastes exactly like it. So on Wednesdays, I do the 2-a-days. I do the cardio in the morning. I go lift heavy at night, and so I drank one in the morning before the gym because I didn't want to do the pre-workout both times. Dude, rookie move. One, like, I'm pretty sure my pupils were dilated all day long yesterday because I was so hopped up because I don't do caffeine. But yeah, next time we go to the movies, I'm definitely bringing one of those to drink because there's no way I'll fall asleep.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so then, I got home, worked out. I was feeling really good and just crashed. I fell asleep with all the lights on, like everything. So, that being said, I had some catching up to do. Plus, I had to watch Dynamite, which was excellent. So, and I just got to say, everybody loves the Acclaimed. They're my new favorite tag team. 100%.
I absolutely love their intro and just their chemistry, everything.
Max Platinum, Max Caster's raps, really their roasts is what they are.
Yeah, they are
amazing. And then Anthony Bowens is just a beast in the ring. He's come so far, even in just like the last 6 months. I mean, he was always pretty good, but like he just makes it look effortless at this point. It's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, let's just get right to the old Superman and Lois while we're at it. All right, so I want to do the ratings and then talk about it.
Okay.
So I did the out of 5. You're not my mom's. What do you give the season 2 premiere?
For everything, so a premiere is a highlight in the sense I'm not talking about series, but a season premiere is that bell cow to tell us where at least the first arc is going of a show. So this did a tremendous job with that, and that's why I give it a 4.5. It wasn't perfect. There was a character that was a little bit annoying, to say the least, but it was the perfect lead off.
I believe I used a much stronger word than annoying.
Yes, you did. It was the perfect bridge between the spectacular season 1 and starting off on season 2.
Absolutely. I went with a solid 4 because of Natalie there in the middle. She kind of brought it back around at the end. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Sarah. So like that, like the whole Sarah Jordan thing, I really liked last year. And so it's like, really, you know, are they going to do woke stuff? Hopefully not. And then I also did not give it like higher because, if you watched until the end of the episode, you saw Doomsday, and it's far too early for that.
That can't be Doomsday.
Yeah, it's Doomsday in the proto-Kryptonian.
Armor suit.
Yeah. So.
Okay, that's what that is.
Yep.
Okay, because I'm like, it looked like the Mark 1. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it totally did, but I mean, if it's not Doomsday, I'll be shocked. So, I mean, I'm conjecturing. I haven't read anybody's reviews or anything, but.
And hey, we thought it wasn't Luther. It was
true
John Henry Irons. So
Henry.
But yeah, I wasn't sure what that was at first because that's what I first thought. I was like, is this another type of like armor suit?
Yeah.
And okay, I really, I agree with you in that sense. But
so this episode directed by Gregory Smith. You might remember him from Everwood or Ricky Blue. Written by Brent Fletcher and Todd Helbing, the showrunners. And it did a 1.09 million viewers, which The Last Son of Krypton only did 670,000. Compare that to the pilot that did 1.75 million. It didn't. Yeah, so the first 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first 5 episodes, of last season, just to recap, 1.75, 1.24, 1.25, 1.21, 1.24 million. And then it went on its hiatus where they replaced it with Woke Girl, and it was 720,000, 800,000, 900,000, then 920,000, 960,000, 800,000, 500, 800,000. So it just, it never recovered. And with all the little stop breaks and things like that, it just did not recover, which, is super sad that it did not. But this is a great start. They did a really good job aligning the pieces. It's a couple months later from when the series 1 ended. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. So what I loved about it again, it adds. So remember, General Lane retired, and he wasn't in this. But I mean, I'm sure we'll see him in some time, because he wants to spend time with the boys, spend time with Lois.
Right.
But he has his replacement, Lieutenant Anderson, he's going to be definitely, for at least for some part of this, an antagonist.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a villain, but antagonist is just someone who's given stress basically to the protagonist. And he brings up the whole, hey, you're supposed to be our American asset, which there are some things I think were actually, they are picking on some of the things that have been going on in comics that it just seemed like with this. But it did it in a way, because again, one of the things we talk about when we talk about Cobra Kai, not just the nostalgia of Cobra Kai, but how Cobra Kai touches on, flashpoints that are going on now in today's world, with not just woke but other things,
right? And
it incorporates it by making fun of it, but also at the same time just bringing it to light, not necessarily kowtowing or giving it what people would call its due, but it's saying, look, this is here, kind of like, Rhodey and Iron Man 2. Hey, I'm here, deal with it. But
right.
But it does the thing that we always talk about. That nonsense is a detriment, just generally speaking, a detriment to character development and story arcs. This, just like Cobra Kai, is focused on the characters and the story arc.
Right.
So I just like I like the little tension there, and the fact that we get the first viewing of, I guess you would say, the graduates of the ex-Kryptonite school.
Yeah.
I don't see them as a threat to Clark or anything along those lines.
Other than copyright infringement.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
So.
And I also love how they had the Lois's arc in this episode. I really liked it. And because it was one of those things where you knew there was a problem, because we start off right where we begin right where we left off. And then there's a scene where Natalie comes. She thinks Lois is her mother. Mm-hmm. John Henry takes Natalie to the side and tries to talk to her. And Clark tells Lois, you got to say something. And she just walks away. Doesn't say anything. And then we get that 3 months later.
Right.
And it's very interesting. It was, I liked how they.
Later.
Yeah. I like how where the boy, like not just Clark and the boys. Well, not just Clark, but Clark and the boys, I should say.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're walking around on eggshells, because Lois is not herself.
Right.
And we don't find out why until later. And it's one of those things when she explains it to Clark, it's like, I didn't feel anything for this girl. And I know how that feels, because that's how I felt when my mother left.
No, she said that's how my mom must have felt when she left.
That's how my mom
Lucy
must have felt. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. You're absolutely right. I mean, she snapped at Clark because he went off to save that North Korean sub rather than chaperoning Jonathan and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then because she came home and found them in bed. So.
Yeah. And yeah, she got pissed because she used the what's it called? The ELT?
Yeah, the LT.
Yeah. And she's like, so this is not important. He's like, not important enough to use that. It's for emergencies, not teenagers hooking up. And then she went fine. I think you'll just go to the party yourself. Which, again, this is one of those things that could last, but I love how they resolve it.
Yeah. So it was two couples were having like essentially the same fight, because Lana and Eric, or Lana and Kyle, were having that too. And just like the scenes in the season of The Expanse with Holden and Clarissa, the scene with Clark and Kyle was pretty freaking awesome. Yeah. I mean, like here they are, like they're both going through the exact same thing, and they don't know how to talk to each other about it, and yet they were able to help each other understand what was going on, which led Clark being able to help because he knows Lana better than anybody, and get her to, make sure she's prioritizing Kyle. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I again, the one thing, and we talked about, you mentioned Natalie, and I'll say what Natalie reminded me of. She reminded me of a CW character. Oh, and that's the one thing Superman and Supes and Lolo have not done. They have not used that CW character template to create and show their characters and their emotions. And don't get me wrong, I would understand her frustration and everything what she's going through. She lost her world. Mm-hmm. She's on a world where she only knows one person. A woman that looks like her mother is like
married to the guy who killed her mom.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. We get that is a traumatic thing beyond belief. And yet I think there is a better way for her to do that, or for them to present that character instead of not the caricature, but that basically, like I said, the template of stereotypical how this teen's going to act in this situation.
Yeah.
So,
I agree 100%. I liked how John Henry was trying to deal with her and still give her space, but then she just left, didn't tell him where she was going. She skipped school, and it's I think with her, she was just trying to be Natalie, who I think Taylor Buck does a good job. I mean, she's a good actress.
Yeah.
Like, she made me not like Natalie, which is, I think, was the point, right?
Right.
Because she was just petulant. But at the same time, like, she knows, she on every level knows that she's in a different spot, yet she was complaining because she's like, my friend just looked right through me. And it's like, well, it's not your friend. They don't know you. It's not the same world, you don't exist on this world.
Right.
Plain and simple. I liked how Lois came around. I actually really liked their conversation at the end when Lois was like, "Hey, why don't we be friends? Like, why aren't we in each other's lives?" Now I hope this doesn't turn into like her trying to parent trap Lois into getting with John Henry and leaving Superman, but
I really don't hope. I really hope they don't go to that CW well.
Yeah, I hope they don't go there, but anyway, no, that was good. I like you said, the stuff between Clark and Lois was good. I really like the stuff between Lana and Kyle. Ian Bohen, who played Lieutenant Anderson, I think is going to be a pretty good foil for Clark. In a lot of ways, I kind of feel like this is like the most political character the CW's had, because Clark keeps saying, like, or Superman is, I gave myself to the world, and he's like, yeah, but you gotta put America first. And it's that whole like globalist versus nationalist argument. And this is where having taken out, or I guess this is actually where losing the copyright to Truth, Justice, and the American Way is a detriment to the Superman character.
Yeah. And again, it's a character you can understand where this, based on his position, where he's coming from. So it's not like it's a far-fetched idea.
Right.
And I do like how Clark has always tried to be, he is Truth, Justice, and the American Way, but as far as being a political figure, he's not. And that's what because it could be so easy to get lost in something else.
Yeah, 100%. He can completely get lost and step over a line and, all of that.
Kind of like in the comics, like his punk son, Jonathan.
His authoritarian punk son, Jonathan.
Yes.
Who is super political. Anyway, no, this was great. There was good action with the submarine. There was good, Clark coaching. The guy who was running for, I guess, city council. Where'd he go?
Yeah. Daniel Hart.
Yeah, Daniel Hart, played by Nathan White. That was interesting. I'm really happy that wasn't like another CW love triangle with Lana, like, cheating on Kyle. But yeah, that's interesting that Lana's running his campaign. So some things have changed. I did like how Kyle was like strangely protective of Superman when the roadside IP theft was going on there with people selling the Superman stuff. Like, Superman's IP, it's getting stolen left and right in this episode.
Yeah. And I loved his, hey, some of us do mind that, it's getting plastered all over the place.
It means something. It means something to us. Yeah. That's what he said. So,
right.
Yeah, it was really good. The stuff with the boys was really good. They continue to both be highlights of the show. Jordan's control of his powers makes sense. It's 3 months later. We didn't have to go through like training montages or anything. Yeah. So.
And then them getting the talk from the dad Clark, which was great.
Clark Kent Geek Dad is the greatest thing that's ever happened to Superman. 100%. So. And
how he says like, oh, so mom, after he was done, he's like, glad we had this talk. And he's like, so does that mean mom? Oh no, you're still gonna get some words from her.
You're still gonna get an earful. And I did like that, like, you know, they're like, well, when did you hand in your V card? And he's like, much later.
Yeah, he's like older than you.
Yeah, he didn't know he was gonna be able to mate on this planet, you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, Brody Bruce in Mallrats has some very interesting questions about how that would work. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, it's a good episode. I think a 4.5, both solid scores, both well deserved.
Yeah, and again, as I mentioned before, smiling all throughout this episode.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I actually did watch this twice, by the way.
I guess technically I watched it twice.
It was on twice in your presence.
It was on twice in my presence. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Chapter 3. I will say I have hit my limit. I give all shows, well, not all. Let me rephrase it. I give 99% of shows 3 episodes. So
we gave Wise the Last Man 3 episodes.
Yeah, and that was a 0 out of 0. So
that was one of the worst shows I've ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that.
All right, so out of 5 worthless Wookiee assassins, what do you give the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa, directed by Robert Rodriguez and written by Jon Favreau?
I give it a strong 2. And that's as far as I can go with it, because one of the things you said when we were talking today, it looked pretty, which it shouldn't.
Right.
When I say it shouldn't, I mean the tech and there's a dinginess that should be there. It's on freaking Tatooine. The story itself, again, we get another flashback, so it is doing the arrow thing, unfortunately. I love Black Chrysanthemum. Yeah. But I didn't like how they used him.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I was fine with the fight, but the street bike gang that Boba Fett basically hires as his, you know,
enforcers,
as his urchins or what? Yeah, enforcers. I rather call them urchins.
Yeah, I like urchins better too,
because they're not enforcing anything. No. I'm sorry. Did you see them? No.
So all right, I'm a solid 1 out of 5. Do not recommend. This show is not. Here's the thing: this show is not bad, right? It's not like an objectively bad show. It's sloppy, is what I told you. There's no attention to detail. This feels like it was super rushed out. If this is indicative of what Robert Rodriguez's second half of his career is going to be like, I'm not for it. And if this is going to be Star Wars under Jon Favreau, if he ever takes over the reins, I'm not for it. I mean, they even had the little middle finger to Kathleen Kennedy in this episode, because that the letters, the symbols they were painting on are the letter K, and they did 2 of them, KK, multiple times. So I think I think if that's on purpose, it's super childish and dumb. I think if it is not super childish and dumb, it's malicious, and that's even worse. So, but yeah, the whole thing about Boba Fett having to go ask for permission for things, it's like, this is the shoot first and disintegrate character, and now he's a Disney princess.
And this is the thing. You could say, well, he changed his ways because he was with the Sand People. No, the Sand People are savage in their own right. So if anything, that would have just enforced more of what he was from the start. I don't like that. This is not a bad. I won't say this is a bad show. I just won't. But the whole sloppiness, and what did I say? I said, I was talking about how it looks pretty, and people could say, hey, how can it be sloppy? Look how it looks. That's actually part of the problem. Because of where you are in this world, it should not look like it. And when I say like that, it can still look beautiful, but still be dirty and dingy.
Right.
Those are not mutually exclusive things.
It just shouldn't look so polished. That's the issue.
Right. And that's the thing. Yes, that is right there. It should not be a polished It should not be.
No, it's a dirty,
we're
violent world that the sun beats down on everything and kills it.
Yeah, and the whole fight with Black Chrysanthemum and Bubba and his urchins.
Yeah, Bubba and his urchins. Great band name.
I mean, I'd like some of the stuff to it. The problem is, and you pretty much neutered this badass Wookiee assassin.
Yep. The worthless Wookiee assassin, Black Chrysanthemum. And only one of, and it was one of the Gamorreans that got, had to be put in a Bacta tank. Yeah.
And that's it. Nobody else got really hurt.
Right. Yeah. Like the Wookiees, who we're supposed to believe can rip people's arms off, are having trouble with a bunch of little skate punks with what's it called? Slingshots.
Yeah. And Bubba is, was it Boba or Finnick that apologized to the guy when he said keep your eye on whatever, because the guy had one eye.
Oh yeah, I don't remember who said it. I was disgusted and have blocked that from my head. So thanks for bringing that back.
Yeah. It's just that whole thing is like, we did not need them at all.
Right.
Did not need them.
Nope.
Unless they're going to be used for cannon fodder later, which, okay, that's fine. Find some creative ways to see them killed. I don't care. But overall, this episode was just... and it's not just this episode. It's the first 3 episodes. They have the same problem of... The biggest problem is not how it looks. It's not the polishedness. It's the fact that this is not the Boba Fett that we wanted. This is not the Boba Fett we should have gotten. And that, when it's a central character, it's like Sylvie. It's like, I mean,
he's not being cucked for Finnick Shand.
No.
Like when he got attacked by Black Chrysanthemum, Shand was nowhere to be found. I thought that was really interesting. And there was no like, hey, where were you? But yeah, it's just, this didn't connect with me. The major domo for the mayor, his Twi'lek costume is horrible. He just does not look at all like a Twi'lek. It feels like you should just be able to pull him out of the little like hut that he lives in or whatever and throw him into a Sarlacc. It looks like
something. It honestly looks like something they would do on SNL.
Yeah.
That's what every time I see him.
It's very obviously a hat that he's wearing for the tendrils.
Yeah. And and this is the thing, why I compared it to the Loki series, is because it's the same thing in the sense of, this is not the Loki we were left with, from where he was coming from. This is not the Loki we wanted, and this is more importantly than this is not the Loki we wanted. This wasn't the Loki they should have given or they should have written.
Right.
And it's the same thing with Boba Fett. And I don't know where they're trying to go with this.
Yeah, I'm not at all sure where they're trying to go with it. I mean, there's 4 episodes left. I think I'm just gonna wait till they're all on there. So, because like this is such a forgettable show, I don't even really remember everything that happened. The Tusken Raiders got killed by the speeder bike people. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So funny enough that I'm the more like in my I have a guys chat, and I'm definitely the more critical of stuff than everybody else in general. And this is like the first week no one said anything about the Book of Boba Fett being on yesterday.
Right.
Like no one said anything about it. Like,
yeah, it is not. It's not a day and date watch for me now. Like I'm definitely not going to watch it when it first comes out.
Because I usually watch those type of shows, the Wednesday shows with my coffee before I start work. And because I didn't watch Supes and Lolo Tuesday, that's what I watched yesterday.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch Boba Fett until after work because I actually forgot about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I guess I'll watch it now.
Yeah, I kind of remembered it at the last minute, and then watched it today. and was not happy with myself for watching it today. But
yeah, but
anyway.
it's something I will absolutely finish watching. It's going to be one of those. We'll kind of like circle back when it's over, and hopefully we'll be surprised and it gets better. But it's 3 episodes. That's out of 3. And there's only 4 left.
Yep.
That's a pretty good sample size.
And nothing's happened.
So
nothing. Anyway. All right.
So
let's get to the main event of the evening.
I don't know if I'm ready for this,
dude. I'm so not ready. I can't wait to watch this episode again. We literally each just finished it about a half hour, about 40 minutes ago. Wait, hold on, about an hour ago. I didn't realize what time it was. Anyway, yeah. I mean, we get the Inners and the Belters fighting side by side with the Rossi crew for a last massive desperate battle with Marco and his Free Navy, with the fate of the solar system and the ring gates all hanging in the balance. And yeah, it was. So I'm going to start with the Strange Dogs this week. Spot perfect for how the novella ended with Zan and coming back and the dad cutting him and sticking him in the pantry, like spot perfect. And they even added a line where Kara said, well, if I die, the dogs will just bring me back. And it's like, foreshadowing.
That was like the last line of
lovely foreshadowing. Yes. So
yeah.
Just really good. The makeup on Zan looks sick. Like the eyes were perfect. Yeah. It was exactly what I pictured in my head when I see it.
Pet Cemetery, anyone?
Yeah, he's a little Gage there, isn't he? Yeah, and then space battles, man. Space battles. I used to think Battlestar Galactica was the gold standard. And it's still up there, but this is 100% the gold standard for space flight.
Oh my goodness. And there's just so much going on, and I was the one that said, from the start, I wasn't sure how this was going to go. And the way they brought this home, from like you're talking about the space battles and the assault on, the ring and Medina Station, and just how they had the shipping containers come and then ejecting through the shipping containers. And we're with Amos for like 30 seconds of, just floating, just propelling himself
through at 15 Gs. Yeah. Like, yeah, he was motoring.
I mean, that was just incredible. And then up close seeing how and watching, those rail guns, how, those Laconian rail guns in action. I mean, it was just like everything about that, just the visuals of the battle and the Rossi, you're trying to get, to Medina Station or put Medina between them and the rail guns. And then, I think what's flying against the penumbra or whatever. Just that whole scene was, not only just visually, but just the way they wrote in the tension and just and the pacing of everything. Because there was at one point, I'm sitting down and I actually had to stand up and watch all this going on.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And, we had another like James and Clarissa scene. We had a great Naomi and Clarissa scene.
Oh man. Yeah.
I thought that was really nice.
A great Naomi and Amos scene.
Yep. Yeah. We haven't had a good Naomi and Amos scene for a couple years now.
Right.
And that was really, really, really good. And not to mention, I think the best like interaction was Duarte and Marco at the end. When Duarte informs him that his services are no longer needed or welcome. And
you were a good distraction.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And then he, as you said, flips him the double bird with the "Oi dang, Beltalowda." So, which was great. And then Marco trying to get everybody to chant Beltalowda. And it was great. Like Keon Alexander is awesome. He's so good in this role, right? With like I know I just hopped to the end and I skipped over a ton of stuff, but like, you know, the whole Beltalowda, Beltalowda, and it was just like he's so intense and like the man bun, everything. He's a beautiful man, by the way. I know we've said this a couple times, but like, just yeah. And I think he's pretty short in real life too. So like, it's like, yeah, you don't deserve to be tall. You're much too attractive and much too talented at what you do. I can't wait to see what he does next.
I was gonna say, because I haven't, like, I mean, this is my first experience with this guy, and he is just incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, he captured the energy, the charisma, everything about Marco that made him work in the books, made you despise him and in the books, but understand why he had a following he did. Keon Alexander was able to capture that.
Yeah, and I mean, he's only got 29 credits to his career. I mean, and he's been going for a while. So, I mean, it's not only 29, but, you know, I mean, he has not, like, in the long run of some actors, he has not necessarily done a ton. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, like, and again, we could be biased, whatever, but him, Stephen Strait, like Dominic Cooper, Wes Chatham, all of these people. I know, like, Frankie Adams is she's filming something right now. I don't remember what it is. All these principals, people need to be looking, like, you know, they have to, they should get the credit they deserve, not just from an award standpoint, but from a standpoint of more work, because these people have shown they are phenomenal.
Yeah, she's got it's called Next Goal Wins. It comes out this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's great. You know, Wes Chatham, I first saw him in The Unit, the Dennis Haysbert show.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
I think I stopped watching before he came through.
Yeah, he was in the last season. So
I only watched the first two.
Someone had figured out like what The Unit was, and like they were using him as a mole. It was really, really cool. But yeah, and even Nadine Nicole, right? Yeah, Nadine Nicole. Clarissa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Clarissa.
I mean, she's got a TV miniseries that was announced. But yeah, I mean, she was in the TV show The Village. She was on The Young and the Restless for 23 episodes. I mean, she hasn't done like a ton of stuff either.
Yeah, and I know we were talking about character scenes. I tell you what, that first scene to make it a little dusty in here was the one on the Rossi when they're at the dinner table.
Oh yeah,
and it kind of reminded me of, I don't remember what season, but I think it might have been season 2 when Alex makes his lasagna. And that's where, you know, after the thing, what happened with, you know, Amos and stuff, and it was like very tense. And that just kind of like that scene where, you know, Amos sits down, it broke all the tension, and is like, hey, that was like kind of like that reinforcement of them becoming, if not being already, becoming a family. And that scene tonight reminded me of that, where
100%.
you have you still have, you know, you have Amos, you have Holden, you have Naomi, you know, they've been, you know, there since the beginning, but now you have Bobby and Clarissa, and for the first time, you see them all together and you feel like this is a real family. And it was just, and it really hurt in a way also, because just, I couldn't help but think about Alex and how him being there, because there was something missing, but not from the sense of a performance or the emotion captured, but you know, just having,
you mean the heart,
Alex,
the heart and soul of the show,
the heart. Yes. But it was still an incredible scene. And yeah, I was like, oh man, got to get this dust out real quick.
Right.
But
those damn allergies.
but like you were talking about before, and I like how they lingered on it too, and how it slowly kind of like pulled away,
Right.
and it just stayed there. It gave it time to breathe, and a lot of times my issues with movies and television shows is that they don't give moments like that a chance to breathe.
So I think that's a really astute observation, because there was a lot of things that this episode just let breathe. That normally they would not, when, they still had like 800 pages to cover in a book at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, my favorite scene was at the end, and it was relatively note perfect from the book, where they are, the politics of it all, where they're talking about who's going to be the governor of the or the president of the trade union, and they look to James, and James is like, no, no. And then the next scene, you see him in the suit, which is the thumbnail for this week's show, and he's giving a speech to the belt and everybody, and it was just really, really cool. And then his whole double cross, which is happened in the book as well. Obviously, it wasn't Drummer, but it was it was Michio Pal, right? Am I right there? I think I am.
I thought you've read it before. Since but yeah, that scene, that was great, and I love when Avazarala realizes what he's about to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, got the look on her face.
Yeah, but he makes a great point regarding Marco.
Mm-hmm.
Marco wasn't just popular because of his charisma.
Right.
Marco was popular and because he touched upon something that people felt, the fear, the frustration, and the anger of constantly being put down, constantly being ignored, constantly being left out in the cold, and he captured that. He took advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love when Jim's like, Marco wasn't all wrong.
Right.
There are times you have to look at an adversary, and you can 100% be against their principles, but you also have to acknowledge people follow them, and there's a reason for that. Don't call them, and again, not dehumanize the people that follow him, but find out why they follow this person, or why they followed this individual or this figurehead, and then you attack that problem,
right?
Whatever it may be. And in this case, Holden, I mean, again, I think I told you about the that one ship short of him, and that was a perfect short for episode 5, leading into this, where he has that conversation with McDowell, and McDowell says, "You're pretty good with these people," and he looks at him, and it's like, have you watched that yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I watched all 5 of them, and it's like, and he's like, "What do you mean, like, these people?"
Yeah, it's like we're all the same people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Holden looks at stuff. Because again, remember, in the first season, Holden says there shouldn't be a side.
Right.
It's and I can't remember. It sounds like it's something he sold to Avazarala. He might have, might not. But the person said, basically, you're living in a pipe dream.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's right in the sense of it shouldn't be a them or an us. But again, as humanity, we're always going to find our tribe, and tribes are always going to have conflict with other tribes.
Right.
Sometimes little conflicts, sometimes bigger conflicts, but finding a way to come together even when you have those differences. And sometimes you have to have a linchpin like Holden, who, like he said, he's an outsider, and he's in a way he's an outsider from his point of view, from
from everybody
point of view, from everybody. And I think he's finally, I won't say okay with it, but he's comfortable in knowing that, because he says it in that speech where he says, I'm an outsider. And, sometimes it does take that outsider to be able to bring everybody else in together in a circle. And,
right.
that was just such a note perfect, like you said, note perfect. But even if it wasn't from the book, it was still, I mean, Stephen Strait, like just his Holden, very much like Keon Alexander, he embodies the character and the spirit and everything that James Holden is in the books.
Right.
And
oh yeah, yeah,
just incredible.
Mm-hmm. I can't gush enough about this show. I'm actually excited. I think I'm gonna wait a week and then rewatch from the beginning all the way through.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get someone to watch this show because
she doesn't want to watch.
Well, I mean, months ago we watched the first episode, but then we never went back. But that's fine. I told her, I was like, look, I think you'll love this show.
Right.
It's one of those. I gushed and gushed about Cobra Kai. How Cobra Kai, there's only Cobra Kai and Superman and Lois make me feel this certain happy-go-lucky way when it's on.
Right.
But it's because it's those type of shows. This is a different show. This is one of my favorite shows I've ever watched. It doesn't give me the giddy feelings, but again, it's a different type of tone. And that's what I said regarding Cobra Kai. It's like, it's not my favorite show, and I don't think it's the best show, but it's great because it makes me feel this way. The Expanse is a totally different animal. And I mean, this is absolutely not with recency bias. I've thought this for a long time. I've thought this about the books. Expanse is one of the greatest science fiction forays into science fiction that has ever been.
Oh yeah, and it's just a great IP all the way around.
Yes, like in every way.
I think part of it too is because the way they wrote it, the way Ty and Daniel wrote it, or Daniel and Ty, it was very cinematic, right? It was really easy to translate to television. I think if this would have been a series of movies, it would not have worked because all of the nuance of the belt would have been lost. And
it would have been
oh, go ahead.
As I think it would have been more of a caricature.
Yeah,
because I know people want to, movies because movies make that, splash. I mean, when I say movies, I mean movies that make a splash in the box office, and that's what you can point, you can wag your finger at. But if you're really trying to truly adapt something, truly give the reverence things deserve, you have to look at long form storytelling.
We're looking at you, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at you, Dune, because it's along the lines of when we talk about you get news bites of this topic and that topic, and then you'll go to somebody's podcast who has a 3-hour show, for example, like Joe Rogan, who can break stuff down and give stuff time to breathe. Not saying it's right or wrong in the sense of that specific a specific topic, but long form is always going to do justice, especially when you're talking about book series. Let's just put it that way. With book series and books, long form storytelling, if both of them are done right, long form storytelling or a movie, the long form of the storytelling series is going to better give a better showing of what that series is, because there's a chance to see these characters and not cram them in a 2.5-hour movie.
Right.
Because you lose way too much. Even with a 3-hour movie, you lose way too much.
Yeah, and I think
very few instances.
I think with this, right, with the belt, looking back at Miller, for example. Miller was a belter who worked for an Earther corporation, right, or an inner corporation, and he was he was our Kitty Pryde into the belt, right? He was our gateway drug into the belt, and without Thomas Jane, right? Like, we can't have Kamina Drummer and Kara G be the character that she needed to be. We couldn't have Marco. We couldn't, we just couldn't have any of that. And yeah, it was it was really cool to see that, and the fruition of, you know, what, since 2018, so 6 years of storytelling, get really just condensed in a satisfying way, and in the proper send off for now, hopefully.
Yeah. And like I said, when they announced 6 episodes, I said, unless these episodes are all going to be an hour long, I don't know how they're going to be able to do it. And guess what? They proved me wrong. They absolutely stuck the landing on this.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And
yeah. We did not rate this one yet.
No.
So do we want to do out of 5 just because we're just talking about this episode? Or do we want to do
just
10?
Do out of 5.
Okay. So out of 5, I can't believe it's overs. What do you give it?
I'm going to stick with the 5. It's 5 out of 5 for me.
Really?
It was, yeah, because this, first of all, it exceeded my expectations.
Sure.
Not for just this episode, but for this season, and to cap off a series that I love so much, and you know that I just love these characters in this world. To be able to stick the landing the way they did, to be able to tell this, you know, just compelling story and give us these character moments where we're really, I mean, it's really hurtful to think that this is the last time we will see the crew of the Rocinante together on screen.
Dude, why do you gotta be such a buzzkill?
Like all of that, adding all of that up and adding all the execution up, the action, the drama, the emotion, there's no way I could give it less than a 5.
I mean, you could have given it a less than a 5.
Yeah. No, that's true.
There's a way
from a technical perspective.
So, because I don't believe anything is perfect, I give this one a 4.5 out of 5. I will say, like, looking at the encapsulation of the whole show, I would probably give it a little higher than a 9 out of 10. But there was some meandering a couple times. I just think the fact that they were able to do with Babylon's Ashes in 6 episodes, and not even like supersized episodes, was really good. And it was,
absolutely.
It was great. We got so much of what we needed at the end of the show. Not just wrapping things up, but also like kind of setting the future. That, yeah, it was. I had hoped for an epilogue that led into things. You know, it's but it was just like the Rosie flying off like literally into the sunset was great, and I loved it. I'm super excited about this show, to see how it holds up in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. I think it will. So,
I mean, I've already watched season 1 maybe 5-6 times, like throughout the years. But I mean, it's easy to do that because I mean that I was on the ground floor with this show.
Yeah, I absolutely
not just from not just from a show standpoint, but from the book standpoint. I got Leviathan Wakes when it first came out.
Look at you.
So, well, not exactly. I won't say like on the date, but like it wasn't out long. I got it the year it came out, so I'll just put it that way. So
hipster douche. I'm kidding.
So, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, I've been along with this ride, you know, since the beginning, and you know, I love, and we just finished the book. A couple months ago, a month and a half, 2 months ago. The book's ended, and now we get the series ending. For now, I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep saying for now, and you know, bring it into
we're trying to manifest this into the world of what it is.
Absolutely.
So
But yeah, and again, you're right. It's not perfect, but it does so much and exceeded my expectations to the point of like I said, technically I could have given it, a 4.75,
Right.
but I don't think it would have done justice to how I'm feeling about
Sure.
how the execution they had in this show.
Right.
And something I honestly did not think they would be able to do as well as they did.
Correct. Yeah, I did not think that it was going to be one of those things that popped off the way it did at the end, and it was definitely one of those things that was just, it was really, really good. It was what it should have been, and yeah, I mean, dude, Steve Strait, man, Dominic Tipper, Wes Chatham, the whole crew, the whole thing. I think what Kara G brought at the end, I think what Frankie Adams brought, like the whole time, just kind of the energy, was really good. And then I think at the end, Nadine Nicole, like, was great. Chad Coleman, as Fred Johnson, even Anna Hopkins as Monica Stewart, right? I mean, she did more with 20 episodes than most actors do with hundreds, right?
Yeah.
And don't forget, like, Nick Tarby at the first couple seasons.
Oh,
and,
man, yeah.
Like, it was so good. And what's his name? Diogo? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well worth a watch. I think, I think it could be stated this is a great show. Not just great sci-fi. This is a great show. From the practical effects of the sets to, everything else. It's,
I like what you said, that distinction. It's a great show. I know people that, say, hey, I don't like sci-fi. I just don't like it. It's like, it's, I won't say it's sad. It's kind of disappointing where somebody says, hey, I don't like this show.
Yeah.
Sorry, kind of cut out there. Especially when, again, the setting of a show is just that, the setting. Mm-hmm. When a show is great, it's because the characters, it's because the actors, it's because the writers, right. It's because the story arcs. It's not because of the genre. And yes, we're generally more partial to a certain genre. There's no doubt. But there are shows out there that I will absolutely give, hey, mm-hmm. You, for example, that's not necessarily a show I always, that type of genre I watch. I've had a lot of fun with that show. Right now I'm watching Emily in Paris, so I do think for whatever reason, sci-fi shows do not get the credit and the accolades they deserve. And we've seen that, throughout time and when it goes through award shows and things like that. But the serious drama mm-hmm. and, with quotation marks, gets the accolades.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a show, and people will do a disservice to it looking at this as only a sci-fi show. It's a show that examines the human condition and how we as humans formulate tribes, how we look down on mm-hmm. others that aren't a part of our tribes, and how we just stir shit up when we could be working together.
Right.
I mean, the message that goes through in this show, or like the through line for The Expanse, is one we all should probably be thinking about. Mm-hmm. I won't say especially in this time frame because, it's a purveyor, I love history and I've, read history. This is something that throughout history people have had problems with.
Right.
And it takes shows like this that kind of in the sci-fi setting to say, hey, 600 years from now, let's hope we're not like this.
Yeah.
So let's hope we learn some lessons from our past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, 100%. 100% to do. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's It was such a good show. It was, for me, I was late to the game, and I think you remember, I watched season 1. I was like, I'm into this, and then
Yep.
like season 2 had just ended, and they're like, yeah, we're canceling it. I was like, what? No. So, yeah, because like they were gonna be like, yeah, season 3 is the last. I'm like, you bastards.
Yeah, and I have to say, thanks to Amazon for picking this up and helping
and
allowing
Alcon
this show.
TV as well, like who
Yes
is the production company. Like they put a lot into this and made it special.
Yeah.
Everyone involved, I think did a great job.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, man. We're right at an hour.
There we go.
So we're over an hour now. So damn it. I'm gonna have to cut out that entire Expanse. So anyway, all right. So yeah. Any last words?
No, I'll just leave it with what I said before, as far as show like this, think deeply, just enjoy it, and then step back and try to say, what is this telling us, or what is this show saying, and where could we learn from it?
Yep.
I mean, that's it right there.
Yes, sir, it is. All right. On that note, thank you guys for tuning in this week. We had a relatively short episode, so you're welcome. After our 2-hour our 2-hour episode last week. But yeah, we are going to come back on probably Tuesday with a review of the first 3 episodes of Peacemaker, which dropped today, I think, on Hobo Max. So excited to do that. So I don't know. I start calling it like Hobo Max because HBO Hobo.
Yeah.
Anyway, if I have to explain the joke, it's really not that funny. It's just stupid to me. So yeah. On that note, we will see you all soon. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.